Hi everyone, my name is Kelly Zorn, and Sarah Hirschler and Melanie Huey and I will be presenting today. Our presentation is titled Examination of Amish Communities and the Impact that Cultural Differences Have on Occupational Therapy Services for Children and Families. So to conduct this critical literature review, we worked with an occupational therapist who was working in a school setting with an Amish client, and she informed us that she was having difficulties creating meaningful and client-centered goals for her Amish client. And after speaking with her, we created this guiding research question, which is, what are the experiences, values, and beliefs of Amish communities, and how do these cultural differences impact occupational therapy services for children and families within those communities? So some background information about this topic includes that OT practitioners are serving Amish children in school settings, and that Amish students usually only attend preschool and then are removed to schools in their communities. And understanding these children's unique experiences, values, and beliefs is essential to providing competent OT services. And our methods include the databases that we searched during our critical literature review. So these include sociological abstracts, ProQuest Power Search, PsycInfo, ERIC, EBSCO, CINAHL, and Education Source. And our inclusion criteria was articles that included information about Amish culture. And specifically, we included articles that examined family dynamics, culturally sensitive healthcare practices, cultural and religious practices and beliefs within Amish communities, as well as schooling within and outside of Amish communities. In our exclusion criteria were articles that were published more than 30 years ago, and also articles that had no mention of Amish culture.
Hello, my name is Sarah Hirschler, and I will now be discussing how we synthesized our results. Some background on the Amish culture. They have limited technology, practice the Christian religion, speak the Dutch language, and have a close-knit community that has maintained the integrity of their Amish culture thus far. We found 3 themes while conducting our critical literature review. The first theme discusses the occupations of the Amish. Amish children engage in occupations that present unique risks for injury, such as farming. Leisure time is an opportunity to help others, give back to the church, and give back to their community. There's an increase in consumerism observed in the Amish children's leisure behaviors due to American assimilation, and the farm is a critical vocational, cultural, and religious experience for the Amish, and this can begin as early as the age of 5 for children. In the second theme, we found the importance of developing relationships. In a study we read, they found that repeated home visitation by a teacher and an Amish woman before introducing families to services was important. And then in another study, we found that welcoming parents into sessions and then educating the client for community participation had the best outcomes. And finally, researchers found that Pennsylvania Dutch is most typically used in the home to connect them to their forefathers, and understanding this concept can further demonstrate respect and acceptance of their culture when developing relationships. And finally, we found that their attitudes towards healthcare and alternative health practices are used and should align with their cultural and religious views. The Amish value healthy living and their ability to do manual labor, which is also an expectation to fulfill their role. And finally, that health-related decision-making is mostly done as a family unit.
My name is Melanie Huey, and I'll begin by discussing the limitations of the research process. First, we found that there was limited research that exists examining Amish community due to the isolated nature. We also had a limited time to gather information, which was approximately 2 months. And lastly, only 8 articles were reviewed to answer the research question. Based on the findings of the research, implications for practice that were found were first that OTs should focus on developing trusting relationships with clients and families, as this has been found to be key to successful outcomes. Also, OTs should try to approach the Amish community and bring health-related services to them and in a way that is acceptable to their culture. And finally, that OTs should be aware that Amish children's occupations differ from typical school-age children and be knowledgeable about what these occupations include. For future research should be conducted by occupational therapists who work with Amish clients, examining the effectiveness of the strategies identified in this review. Thank you for listening to our poster presentation, and we're looking forward to answering any questions that you may have.